America. You're going to protest that? Why? Okay, because you're protesting because, and I'm trying to have the facts. I don't have the details about veterans, disabled veterans whose jobs have been eliminated. Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, that's what I understood
Theo said, right?
Theo to say.
Okay.
Wreaths Across America is a nonprofit organization that we are trying to put wreaths on the grave sites of veterans who have passed away.
Yeah.
But that's not, nobody's being paid to do this.
Right. I understand that. Cousin, how are you?
Help, Jennifer, help.
Morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
Oh, we're hanging in
How are
there.
you?
How are you doing?
I wanted, I didn't have any intention on calling in this morning until I heard what Theo said. So I want to directly address Theo. And the way I take this is that you are saying that your hate and dislike and distrust of one man is going to make you turn your back on the Wreaths Across America, on the veterans. That doesn't make any sense, Theo. That's not, and in my opinion, that absolutely is just the most horrible thing I think I'm going to hear today. And I haven't even turned on the news, so I know there's going to be some horrible things that I hear. But just because you are a diehard Democrat and you are completely and totally against Donald Trump, that is no reason at all to turn your back on the Wreaths Across America. At all.
Jennifer.
That just...
Yeah, I don't even mean to interrupt, Jennifer, but let me say this. I was just over at the Veterans Cemetery here in Jacksonville. Actually, I was there twice this past week. There's one thing that's not on any of the grave site, the graves, headstones. Do you know what's not on there?
I know exactly what's not on there. It doesn't say Democrat or Republican.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right.
It doesn't say anything like that,
On a single one.
But it's their service. It's their year, the time that they were on this earth, and what wars, pluralized, they may have served in. And
my father and my father-in-law were both veterans. Neither one of them are buried in a veteran cemetery. Both of them have the markers that tell what branch of service they were in. My father was in the Korean War. He was in the tail end of World War II. They're not in any veteran cemeteries, but Terry and I always have tried ever since we've heard about this through listening to Rayford. We have bought wreaths.
Thank you.
I just don't understand how I could say, well, I don't like who the president is, and he's making all these cuts. And I'll go one step further, and I'm really going to make him mad. But now, I don't give a rat's behind whether you're a veteran or whether you're disabled or what. If you are getting paid to do a job that is not needed, it needs to be cut. Now, I'm sorry. I don't care if they cut a job that does not need to be. Cut it. Let them get another job. If they're disabled, they're already drawing a check anyway. Now, come on, Theo. That you can't. Don't play the disabled card on me, bud, because I guarantee you they're getting more than my husband is. And then they're doing a job that isn't needed. Cut that job. Let them get something else. Do just what Biden said when he cut the pipeline. Let them learn how to code. I do believe that's what he said. So that's my rant for this lovely day.
Jennifer, did you see the
Call back
recent?
and give your rebuttal.
Jennifer,
What?
did you see the recent story that came out from Doge, where they found that they identified that the Small Business Administration granted nearly 5,600 loans for $312 million to borrowers whose only listed owner was 11 years old or younger at the time of the loan?
I have not heard that.
Oh, yes.
I have not heard that.
Oh, yes. I mean, and
We, the people of this country, have been scamming the other people of this country
yeah, absolutely.
for so long, Republican, Democrat, or others.
Yeah.
It is just disgusting. If we had all of the money that has been scammed from the taxpayers of this country, we would not have any issues in giving pay raises to those people who worked their entire lives who are now on Social Security.
Well, they also found out that out of 5,593 loans, they also used a Social Security number with an incorrect name. So who's been getting all this money? Who has been getting all this money?
And now, I'm not stupid enough to believe that everybody that has been doing something like this is a Democrat. I mean, it's on both sides.
Of course it is.
Now,
It's on all sides.
I mean, it's on both sides. The Democrats are the ones that they're screaming the loudest. And, I mean, you go to the one that's screaming the loudest, and then you come on back down. They're all, if they're guilty, I hope they get caught in the net, and I don't care which side of the aisle they're on. The Democrats at that speech the other night, I would not let anybody know I was a Democrat after the way they acted. Would not clap, would not stand up. Go back and look at the films. The Republicans applauded when Jill Biden, as evil as she is, to have let her husband go through what he did. When she entered, the Republicans clapped for her. They sure didn't for Melania Trump. They didn't even clap for the widow of the officer that had been slain, for the angel moms, for the child with cancer. That's evil. That's wrong. That's stupid, in my opinion. And as of today, I still have the right to my opinion.
You do.
Things might change.
Yes, you
But
do.
as of today, I still have that right.
You'll have it tomorrow.
Yep, you do right here. And you will exercise your right. I am absolutely sure of that.
Well, every chance I get, but I mean, I just don't understand. And none of it makes sense to me. Like Stacey Abrams, did you hear what she got? Like
Oh, there's no
a
telling
little
her.
organization or whatever, wasn't it $2 million?
Mm-hmm.
And had
Was it 2 million or 2
$100
billion?
was down as what they had to something. I mean, my Lord.
Read a story
Let them
last.
give somebody. I'll start up a small business, Mama Jen's Race. Single mama.
And you do a good job,
Yeah.
too.
I saw a story last night. Maxine Waters, and she's 86 years old.
Mhm.
From,
They
from-
need to take her to the home. And
Well, but from California, she funneled a $1 million to her daughter from campaign funds,
yeah.
and
From campaign
from
funds.
campaign
Illegal.
funds. And so for kicks and giggles, I pulled up how many millionaires there are in Congress.
All of them.
All of them, every single one of them, because it doesn't take long.
Now, for as you said, kicks and giggles, I started to say the
Me
other
too.
word and caught myself. But anywho, for grins, find out how many of them were millionaires before they got in Congress.
A few, but not that many.
A few.
Not
Right,
all
right.
of them. That's the ones that wasn't. And then all of a sudden they're worth 20 million, whatever. Yeah. How'd you get that? Nancy? Yeah,
No.
sitting there sucking on her dentures the other night with her cane. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They need to
God.
take these
She was
people to
chewing them
radiation.
like a cow.
I mean, her and Maxine, and I have decided who Adam Schiff. I've looked at that man and looked at that man,
I'm
and
sorry.
I've decided who he looks like.
The
It
Joker.
finally hit me.
Tim Conway.
Nope.
No.
All right, I'm gonna go back a little bit further. Now, I'm a horror buff. Love horror movies. Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, really?
When Jodie Foster
Oh.
first sees Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter.
Standing there behind that glass.
Yep.
He's just standing there smiling. Looks just Google it. Looks just like him. I'm like,
Was that Anthony Perkins? I can't remember.
No.
No, not on that one. No.
Oh crap. Anthony Hopkins.
Hopkins, that's it. Thank you.
Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. Looks just like him. Just like him. But
Oh,
anyway,
you're
y'all have
right.
a great day.
You too,
See,
Joe.
you got my blood pressure. My blood pressure is usually low, but
Go take a
you
pill.
got it going this morning. I'm right ready this morning to go. Poor old Terry.
Oh,
I'll
my.
have to deal with this all
Hey,
day.
Terry, we got an extra bedroom down here. Get on the bus. I'll pick you up.
Guess what Saturday was?
Your anniversary.
Saturday was Terry's birthday.
Happy
Oh,
birthday,
that's right.
birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
But
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
yeah.
God bless him.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I got curious about the story with Maxine Waters, so I looked it up and I see what it is.
Yeah.
Her daughter worked on her campaign and got a salary for it.
$1 million.
Yes, she organized
get me
slate mailing operations to bolster her mother's reelection. Slate mailing is an uncommon practice in federal elections. It's where a consulting firm is hired to create a pamphlets of sorts. So her daughter became a consulting firm and created the pamphlets to be
I'm
mailed.
sure it was strictly legal on the books.
It's on the books, and
Wonder how many of the
technically she can do it.
those who contributed all that money to her campaign like that.
Well, think about it
The
though,
ones I didn't
Rayford.
know.
If you were running and you had millions of dollars in your campaign funds, and
That I couldn't use
that
legally for anything else.
no, I mean
No, I couldn't use it. I could not
you
use it.
could
for
not
anything
use it
else.
to go buy clothes
But
and
I
stuff
could
like
have
that.
my daughter take it, and then my granddaughter, then they could give me gifts, right?
You're not gonna
Legally,
listen to
that's
us.
right. Okay, we're back live and local. Good morning. Who's this?
My name is Bill.
Hey, Charlie. How are you, Bill?
Hello, Bill.
So I want to ask you guys a question about when it
Superman.
comes to taxes.
Mhm.
First of all, 99% of us are complete hypocrites when it comes to paying our taxes.
Yeah.
And I want you to say, well, Charlie, give me an example.
Use me. Am I a hypocrite?
If I sell something, let me ask you a question. If I buy something and I sell it online, let's say I buy something for $1,000 and I sell it online for $2,000.
You got to pay taxes on the
Am I
extra grand.
responsible to be taxable on that?
Absolutely. If it's a profit, if it's a profiteering type of situation,
So most people are. You guys are missing something.
No, they won't do it. Most people won't do it.
No. Most of us sell goods, and like let's say you sell your car. I'm going to get rid of my car. I bought it for $4,000. I'm going to sell it for $6,000. Do you actually believe that person is going to claim that $2,000 profit on their taxes? 99% don't do it. Let's call it hypocrisy of everybody.
Let me ask you
Yes
this.
or no?
Let me ask you this. You're right. Let me ask you this, though. At the same time, you buy this $4,000 car. You think it's going to be an investment. You could get $6,000 for it. You have to sell it for $2,000 because you can't get $6,000. Do you claim that as a loss? If it's going to be an investment one way, should it not be an investment the other way, and therefore it's a loss?
Okay, first of all, you're much smarter than me. I'm dyslexic when it comes to numbers. If I buy a car for $4,000 and I decide 2 days later that I don't want it, and then I sell it for $6,000, I'm not going to pay taxes on that.
Correct.
I'm going to pocket that $2,000 profit. Yes?
Yep.
Okay, let me ask you this.
That's illegal.
All right,
That's
let me ask you
illegal.
this.
That's illegal.
Hold on, Charlie. Let me ask you this. But if you bought that car for $4,000, then you sell it for $2,000, you're taking a $2,000 loss. Are you going to write that off?
6,000. No, 6,000.
No, but
No. I'm saying,
if by the same token, what he's saying is, if you bought this car, if you buy it for 4,000 and you sell it for 6,000, you're going to consider that an investment, correct? And therefore, it's a profit. But if you buy for 4,000 and you end up having to sell it for 2,000, would that not be a loss on your investment, and therefore you could take that as a deduction?
Absolutely.
But
Okay.
nobody does that
90%
either.
of us-
nobody does that either.
There's so much income that 90% of us make when we sell certain things. We don't claim that. We profit off that. I absolutely profit off that. And you guys can't sit back and say to yourself, you know what? He's missing something. We're all hypocrites. We're all making money. We're all under the table. Some of us, we sell things. We make money off certain things. Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
What is the difference? Let's say I have a company or corporation. Let's say my company or corporation, they make, let's say they make $2 million a year. Lying about making, what's my point? I'm trying to figure this out. There's no difference. I know, I don't know how to put this together. How do I want to put this together? If you cheat on your taxes, whether it's $1 or $1 million, is there any difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
$999,999. But I know what you're talking about.
Right.
You talk about legally, is there any difference if you cheat on it? Whether it's $1 million you cheat on or $1 you cheat on? Well, no, and not really, except to the degree of whatever the penalties are. For instance, if you break into a home in North Carolina and if you just break into a home in North Carolina and you broke into my house and you steal a pocket comb, that's called a felony, is breaking and entering, which is a felony.
Mhm.
If you break into my house and steal $1 million, it's still a felony.
Mhm.
The same penalties apply, except for what you have to pay me back. Did you know that?
That's right.
No,
So-
I agree. But isn't it bizarre how we label someone that cheats on their taxes $10 million as opposed to someone that cheats $1 million, that cheats $1 in the taxes?
Mhm.
It's the same thing. There's no difference.
A cheat is a cheat, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll agree.
But isn't it bizarre how we highlight someone that cheats 10 million as opposed to the person that cheats 10 cents? They're the same cheats. They're the same exact person. There's no difference.
I can't argue with you with that.
I can't
No.
either. I agree
No,
with
I
you.
totally agree.
Except you're not the guy that cheats, makes $1, steals $1. He's not going to make the news. You're right about that too.
All right, so that's it. I've always been fascinated by that. I've told friends of mine, like, dude, you made $10 million, but you cheated on your taxes, and this guy that made $20,000, he cheated $1 on his taxes. There's no difference. And they're like, no, there's a major difference. This guy made $10 million. I'm like, you don't grasp it. There's something in your brain that doesn't get it. We're all cheats. You're either a cheat or you're not a cheat. Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
And you're either
All right. That's all I have to say.
To be honest,
That's showing online. Take care.
okay. Take
All
care.
right.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
I understand what he's talking about.
Yes.
It's your degree of being illegal is illegal. Illegal is illegal, period. Bottom line. The penalties for stealing $1 million is going to be different than stealing $1. All right. That's just the way it is. But the penalty for actually doing the crime is going to be the same, than whatever the crime is. Now, then we have the issues on taxes. I bought radios over here. That radio that I got over there is from the late 80s. It costs a lot of money.
Mhm.
How much can I get for it today? A heck of a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, a third at the best, probably closer to a quarter if it's working great. My car, I drive my car out of the parking lot. I spend, let's say, $40,000. I go in there. I get a loan for a car for $40,000. I get in this beautiful car. I drive it off the parking lot. I got insurance on it. I'm ready to roll. I pull it out to the intersection. I pull out in front of another vehicle, and that car is totaled. How much is that car worth? That $40,000 car that now has 0.2 of a mile on it had.
Well, you lost 4,000 when you drove it off the parking lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At the best, you're still going to, if you could sell it, you're not going to sell it for less, you're going to lose 10%. The minute you drive it off the parking lot, right? Now, if you total it, you've lost it all, and then you're still going to have to make the payments on $40,000.
Yes.
Did you know that? Yeah. I had a friend that did that, an acquaintance that did that.
When we talk about taxes, and I'm gonna go local for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about your driving, you drove off the lot, right?
Somebody did. I didn't.
Somebody drove off the lot. And they lost money. It depreciates immediately.
Yep, it does.
When you do that, and you drive it on Highway 24.
Yeah. Good luck.
Turns on the Johnson Boulevard. What?
Wham.
Okay. Whose road is that? City or county?
Johnson Boulevard is the state of North Carolina.
State of North Carolina. But you're paying county and
Yeah,
city taxes
absolutely.
on it.
Yep.
Right.
But the
Being
state,
taxed twice if you live in the city.
DOT takes care of it.
Takes care of the road. But in our taxes, if you live in the city, you're paying twice. You're paying
At least.
for that. So and you live, but it's the same road. It's a county road. It's a state road,
Mhm.
city road. You're paying taxes twice.
Except the county does not maintain any rates.
No. But I asked them one time, why, and this is when I lived in the city, why am I paying twice? I'm paying county taxes on my vehicle to just drive on this road. I'm paying city taxes to drive on this road.
Mhm.
And it's the same road.
It's government.
It's government. They didn't, there's no answer.
There is no
I'm
answer.
going to give you
but-
some bad news.
Uh-oh.
If they do get around to improving the gas mileage on vehicles, or if we, as we did some years ago, stop driving as much because the price of gas was so
Mhm.
much, right?
Yep.
You pay a certain amount per gallon. You don't pay a percentage. You pay let's say 50 cents a gallon to the state of North Carolina for tax.
Yep.
Okay. We don't drive as many gallons. We don't use as many gallons, whether it's our car's more efficient or we just don't drive as much.
Mhm.
So the state of North Carolina is going to get, let's say we drive half as many miles in a year. They only get half as much money for road maintenance. Where are they going to get the rest of it? They're going to raise the taxes
Well,
on
that's a good
gasoline.
point. I
Yeah.
never
They
thought
raise the
about
tax.
that.
They raise the tax on gasoline
Yep.
per gallon.
I've
That's
had
the
my
way that
truck
happens.
2 years and I've not even broke 20,000 yet.
Yeah,
So
well, you're one of those people that
kind of
go-
quit driving.
Now, we've got, how about all these electric vehicles that are out there on the road that still use up the road right now? We maintain the roads. The state of North Carolina has to maintain the roads for these electric vehicles who don't use. How much gasoline does an electric
Well, they
vehicle
were
use?
talking about a
Zero.
user fee with them.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So
Okay.
saving all that money with gas from gasoline by buying an electric car is going to end up costing you because they're going to charge you per car.
Remember when it used to be on the gas pumps?
Yep.
They showed how much
Yeah, what the breakdown on taxes was. Scary.
it was.
The taxes today that we pay the state of North Carolina per gallon of gasoline is higher than the total price of gasoline when I started driving.
Wow.
The average price when I started driving was around 26 cents a gallon.
I remember your stories of driving down to Florida.
Yeah, driving down to Florida, it was 11 cents a gallon one year when we went to Florida in 1968, my cousin and I. And because we got into a gas war, they used to have things called gas wars where
Mhm.
the stations would keep reducing their prices because they wanted more people to stop there.
Yeah.
Hey,
They would lose money, but they
Let's-
wanted more people to stop there.
let's encourage all these stores that have gas pumps. Let's start a price war.
No,
Come on, guys.
No,
Let's start a
In the
war.
middle here.
because then they're going to start going up and say, hey, you know what? If we can get people to do that, we can raise the price.
No, let's
Which is-
start.
They already have those. You go to any town
I was going to
and
say, go to the corner.
you find 4 stations on a corner. Their gas
Everybody's got a
prices are going to be
different
within
price.
a penny of each other.
Well, I think we
Across
should
town,
start
the
one.
same distributor, Go Gas or
No, I think we should.
Shell or whoever. Across town, those same types of stations, they may be up 3 cents higher per gallon.
You know what though disturbs me greatly? Disturbs me greatly when you go to a gas station and you look at the sign and it says unleaded 267. All right. But in little teeny letters, which no one can read unless you climb a 50-foot ladder and get up there and look, it says no with the card.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you have
Okay.
the special card from that, like Circle K or whatever, that, and you use that prior to putting in your payment card, then you'll get it reduced. And
Uh-huh.
that just makes me
Well, then
so
you
mad.
need to get every card out there, but you need to get an extra wallet to carry it.
Nah.
And then sometimes it's under certain conditions. If it's on a Monday between noon and 12:15 p.m., those prices apply. Now you pull in there at 12:16, it's back up.
Right,
don't get that
right. Do,
discount.
do you remember back in the day when you got
There's
cards for
stipulations.
everything and you had them on your key ring and you'd go in,
Oh,
you got
yeah.
a massive. Now you just use your telephone number. You just pop that in the machine instead of the card.
I think we just all need to have the same number that we use, so we all get the same price.
Well, I won't say anything other than the fact that I,
know
have
you do that.
a
I don't want to hear
family
it.
Uh,
You
that
don't-
we exchange. We use
you
each
used
other's
to.
phone
You
numbers for
used
certain
to. Now
stuff.
they're going to change you. They're going to stop it. You-
Because one family member gets a discount at a certain grocery store. So when you go in there, use my telephone number, get a 10% discount. You know, I'm like,
Well, that's-
yeah.
Well, it won't work for me because
Why?
because my number's out there now with for East Coast America, and then we'll be talking about stoppers. It's out there.
Well,
for
just let me know
somebody.
where you get good
No,
deals,
but
and I'll
what-
shop there if
What
you use your
discounts do
number.
you get associated to your number?
To my number.
Yes.
Um,
Write this down.
We all should have one telephone number. The one number should be BR549.
Well, I told you what number to use when
neither
you
one
go
of
to
you
a
know
certain
what that
grocery
is.
store if you remember.
I know that, but I
I'll
can't
give it
remember the
the,
number.
I'll write it
I
down
can't
for
even
you.
remember the grocery store.
Yeah, I'm saying you probably. I don't shop there much because
Then I would have to look for it in my wallet, right?
not if you put it in your telephone and like you go up there and
Oh,
go, wait a minute, let me
wait.
look up my number.
It's 45 degrees in the backyard here at our studios. A little bit warmer in some places in the area, but it's still 45 here, and it's still March, and the winds are still a blowing. Offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles, easterly winds 15 to 20 knots, increasing to 20 to 25 in the afternoon. Gusts up to 30. Seas 2 to 4 feet, building to 4 to 6 this afternoon. Near shores, seas 2 to 4. Sounds and rivers choppy, becoming rough this afternoon. Tomorrow, northerly winds 25 to 30 with gusts up to 40, diminishing to 15 to 20 with gusts to 30 in the afternoon. 7 to 10 footers, subsiding to 5 to 7 in the afternoon. Near shore, seas 3 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers very rough, diminishing to choppy in the afternoon. Wednesday, westerly winds 5 to 10, becoming southwesterly in the afternoon. 3 to 5 footers, sounds and rivers a light chop. Don't ask me why I roll my R's for Kelly.
Okay, today, rain, high near 57. Northeast wind 5 to 13 miles per hour with gusts as high as 22. Tonight, rain, mostly cloudy with a low around 46. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 72. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 75. And going into Thursday, partly cloudy with a high near 75.
Because when I roll my R's, Robin gets lucky.
when you do that, when I'm listening, you do that.
Oh, God, I
always
need to
think
refill
of-
my coffee.
I always think of Ruffles. The potato
Ruffles
chips.
have ridges.
There you go.
I just think about words like roar that I just,
Roar.
because it
don't
starts
roll
with
you-
an R and ends with an R.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. War starts with
Roar.
Oh, roar.
Yeah, roar.
a roar.
Roar.
And to me, when you start rolling your R's, it makes me think of roar. because I have the
I
worst.
swear, I thought she said war.
No,
That's-
but you go back to World War II. Say that fast.
War two.
And then say roar.
Roar.
No, there's something about those R's that get me every time.
Kelly loves to hear the R's rolled.
Yeah, and her eyes roll.
They roll around in her head.
Okay. What a Monday.
Oh,
Can-
golly, help us.
Would you mind if I mention Crime Stoppers?
I know, that's what you're here
That's
for.
what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
No, I've
Please
enjoyed,
come in and talk
I
about
always
Crime
enjoy
Stoppers.
coming in, but the Crime Stoppers annual barbecue fundraiser
Yay, coming up.
is underway,
Yes.
and some really great news. One, I have the flyers that I'll be going around to businesses passing out, but the tickets are still $10
Mhm.
as they were last year.
Yep. And you get
And
to save the taxes on that bill, too.
you sure do. And this year, Smithfield's, both locations,
In Jacksonville.
Gun Branch Road and Yop Road, are participating. You'll be able to use your tickets between April 1st and April 30th,
Mhm.
any day of the week.
And if you buy 10 tickets, you can use them 10 different times or take 9 guests with you.
You sure can. And as a special extra incentive this year, in the past, it was your choice of barbecue or chicken and potato salad and coleslaw
Something
or
like
green
that.
beans. This time you get to pick your two sides.
Yep.
You want French
You
fries?
can pick whether you get chicken or dead pig or you what. Or and then you can also pick whether you get beans or tater salad or French fries or that
Coleslaw potato salad?
and no, there's one more. The chicken stuff, soupy I forgot what it's called.
Okay.
Anyway,
You get to pick your
Brunswick
two.
stew.
Brunswick stew. That's
So, yeah, thank you. So you get to pick your two, and it's only $10.
Mhm.
$10 a plate. And currently, if you give me a call at 910-389-8698 and you want to reserve your tickets, we're waiting for them to come off the press this week.
Mhm.
We'll get them to you. And businesses, I'll be coming to see you.
and the more you the folks here at the barbecue places, the Smithfield, they call it barbecue. It's barbecue and more. But when you do that, this money, a big chunk of it's going to go to Crime Stoppers.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about Crime Stoppers. Crime
Love to.
Stoppers is that been around for quite a while. Onslow County, I'm not sure when it started.
5 years.
Okay, it started down in New Hanover
Wow.
County way back when. These are early 80s, as I recall. And I got to be involved in that up front and personal because in TV, they ask us and I said, yeah, we'll do it in a heartbeat. So in those days, I actually went out and shot recreations of a monthly crime that had
Wow.
occurred, a heinous crime that they were wanting to highlight. The rewards was for any crime,
Mhm.
current or future, in some cases for crime prevention. I know that Joe down the street here, he's planning to go out and buy some dope and then he's going to sell it for a profit and not pay taxes on it, Charlie. And so he's committing 2 crimes. He's committing 3 crimes, buying the dope, selling the dope, and not paying taxes on it. So you could bust him out if you know he's going to do that and you notify the Popo in advance, Crime Stoppers, and they'll notify the police and they'll be waiting for it.
Mhm.
And then you got your name in there. You don't. You have a number in there. They don't know who you are. They just know your number. Kind of like being in prison. You just got a number. But then when the time comes and these dudes go to jail or they get arrested, and then you can call them up and say, hey, I'm number BR549. Did anything happen with these clowns that I arrested? Oh, absolutely, Mr. BR549. Go over to the bank and they will be waiting for you. You give them that number and they will hand it to you at the drive-through. You don't even have to go in. They won't ask you who you are. There's no ID required.
Nope.
You got that number, you're good to go.
You are good to go. Last year we
Now,
had
that's the way it works, y'all.
and last year we had over 500 tips. 500.
Wow.
Wow.
And a majority of them are drug related.
Sure.
Then a lot, then larceny and miscellaneous, and some homicides
Mhm.
have been turned in.
We'll talk about that particular one here shortly.
Yeah. But everything is, and you just couldn't have put it any better, Rayford.
No.
It's all anonymous.
Yes.
You are given that number once you've called the tip line, the associated LEO, whether it's city or county, they get it. They run with it. You get a number. You check that number,
Mhm.
and they'll tell you, yes, your reward's ready. You go to Marine Federal Credit Union on Western Boulevard, drive through, and give them your number. They will send you the cash, and it's done. And you don't have to worry about it because it is anonymous.
Yeah,
And
totally anonymous.
Well, I say we at the state awards convention that we had this year, Crime Stoppers received the outstanding. Let me make sure I get this correctly. The State Outstanding Public Awareness Program of the Year award,
Yay.
which is we're very proud of that because, as you know, we don't have a local television station.
Nope.
Live and Local Real Talk allows me to come on here and others to talk about Crime Stoppers.
We encourage you to come on here.
We appreciate that. And, that helps. And being in the parades, we were in front of you folks at the Veterans Parade.
Yep.
And a few others. That's getting Crime Stoppers out there. And it's so wonderful to go in these events and people are going, hey, Crime Stoppers, and to take advantage of that program.
Yeah,
That's great.
When you do something like that, so you mentioned drugs. Okay, so a lot of drugs dealers, y'all know when your neighbor down the street, he's not maintaining his yard. He's might have an extra half dozen people living in the house. They got people coming and going at all times of the day and night. They got some junk cars in the driveway. They got bicycles in the driveway. You don't discount that. They ain't necessarily for the little kids there. They're for drug runners. Those kiddies may be 20 years old running dope on bicycles, okay? But they'll have all sorts of activity going all sorts of the time of the day and night, and they're operating out of that location. Make the call. They're not going to come running in there with guns or brandished and just kicking the door in. They got to work up a case. But if they got a starting point, and especially if they've got 3 calls about this place, we better really take a look at this place. It ain't you're just taking down a drug dealer. You're taking down a drug dealer that is encouraging kiddies to go out and steal. They steal from cars, they steal guns, they steal this, they steal that. And then they trade it for dope that they then turn around and go out and sell for a profit. This is the way this system works. Okay? You take down the head of that, you cut the head of that snake off, you've just saved a bunch of people a lot of grief, including me in case they want to break into my house. Because I'll have to go get another bullet. And I don't want to have to do that and clean my guns. See, that's just...
Yeah, it's just too much trouble.
It's
too much trouble. No, but seriously, I'm being facetious, but you can save a lot of people a lot of trouble by making one phone call, 10 little digits away, 910. That's your cue.
Chris.
Oh,
That's your cue.
938-5273. I thought you wanted me to give my phone number again,
No.
which is fine because I'll relay it to
I was about to give mine, just to fill the air.
What's interesting when you talk about it, because I know you're secure. You're secured in this home. I know that.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Some of us are.
But what I see in these, what are they, neighborhood posts, greater whatever neighborhood.
Yes.
And they post a picture of someone. Have you seen this person? They're walking around somebody's cars and things like that because of their ring.
Right.
The cameras catch it.
Yeah.
Call Crime Stoppers. Let them send out.
Look what I got.
And
I never thought of
Yes.
giving it to Crime Stoppers.
they will send out the right law enforcement.
And when you do that, because criminals don't listen to us, that's the good thing. But when you do that, pay attention to their shoes. If you are the victim of a crime and you're one-on-one with a bad guy, look at his or her shoes. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't change their shoes very often.
No.
They
Yeah,
change
we
their
were
pants, they
always
change
taught
their
that.
shirts, they change their hats, they change their hair. But they keep the shoes.
Yeah, we were always taught that too. Always look at the shoes.
Mhm.
Sometimes the shoes is what'll get you.
Uh-huh. You'd be amazed at the number of bank robbers that have gone in, run into a wooded area, and when you go there chasing them down, looking for them, you find their clothes
Mhm.
because they're wearing their clothes
But
over
they're still
another set
wearing
of
your
clothes,
shoes, yes.
and they still got the same shoes on. I've never seen one change the shoes.
Good point.
And we also have
Right.
text a tip, which is great because
Related, yes.
they're on the school buses.
Uh-huh.
And I can't tell you how many children have received rewards
Oh, really?
because
good.
they go to the SRO and say, Lee, okay, maybe not Lee, but
You can
okay,
use
we'll use
You can
Lee.
use
Lee
the other
is a
Lee,
young, the other Lee is a young student. Hey, so and so is selling marijuana out of their locker. They'll end up, something's going to happen.
Mhm.
And if they use that text a tip, they're very likely to get a reward.
Yep.
And the rewards, we're now up to $5,000 is the top,
Good.
Up to.
up
Okay.
to
Yeah, depends
$5,000.
upon how important the lead is
Yes.
and how big the crime is.
Thank
and yes,
you,
it will
yes.
depend upon, somebody stealing matches out of the store or cigarettes is going to be one thing. Somebody stealing, whatever.
Yeah.
Guns is going to be something else.
And we had one, the lady that was sadly killed over at the bingo parlor.
Yeah, that's been
that-
some years ago,
That was years ago.
but it took forever.
But people actually received the awards and said we don't want them.
Yeah.
We don't want we just want those people found. And when they
She
got
was a
the
very
reward.
likable lady.
Yes, she
Everybody
was.
loved her, and she was murdered. And it was all hands on deck at that time. Let's find the person or persons responsible,
Mm-hmm.
and they did.
Yeah, and it was interesting. You had Chris Thomas on
Yep.
last week.
Yeah, he brought up that Gary
Morton case.
Yes, and I would surely love.
There's just
someone
that
to
one
talk.
little tidbit of information
Mhm.
that will allow them to go out and arrest the person that
Mhm.
we all kind of know who done it.
Mhm.
Dude, the best thing you could do is turn yourself in for the reward because you could use the money when you get to
For your
prison
bail?
to go. No, you ain't
For
gonna
your
get no
lawyer?
bail. But no, when you go get arrested and you go to prison, you can use that as your canteen
For
money
your
to buy some extra
commissary.
cigarettes.
For
Okay,
your
so
commissary.
go
yes.
turn yourself in. You'll
Yeah.
get a reward. How's that sound? Has that ever been done?
I really, because that one right there, out of all the cold cases, I think that one
It's-
bothers
it's
me the
one-
most because everybody knew Gary Morton.
Yep.
He grew
Real
up
estate
here,
guy,
real
local
estate,
guy.
local guy, Helen's Kitchen every morning for
Mhm.
breakfast. While you might not have known him personally, you knew him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was so horrible the way he died. And I just really hope that somebody listening, if you have a tip, please call.
If
Please.
you don't
Yeah.
know, if you don't have a tip, maybe somebody you do know, just talk it up. You go play bridge, you go out drinking, you go out partying, you go out whatever. You
Right.
got a group of friends. Hey, did you hear about this guy that was murdered back in 2016? Yeah, they dumped his body in the pond in front of his house. They killed his dog.
Yeah.
And they burned his truck. And
I mean, you
how
don't have to
heinous
give
is
your
that?
name. They're not
Yeah.
going to be able to identify you
Nope.
if you call that Crime Stoppers
Just
number.
talk it up.
And you can always do a star 72 or I don't forget
I don't
what it
know what it
was
is, but-
to disguise your number. I mean, if you feel better about it.
Like,
All
you-
right, go to a payphone.
text your tip
There
to
are no payphones.
What?
What is a payphone?
What?
When's the last time you saw a payphone, Rayford?
What?
There's no such thing as a payphone.
There's got to be a payphone.
Please. I don't think there are not payphones anymore.
Does anybody know where a payphone is?
Payphones are gone. They're a thing of the
Is
past.
there a payphone in Oslo County? 910
You can get burner phones, but you can't find a payphone.
910-333-0139. What are perverts going to do when they make phone calls? How are they going to make a phone call if they can't go to a payphone?
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. But
Maybe I could
Yeah.
buy one of those old payphones and put it in somewhere. People could come in.
You could probably.
Perfect booth.
It's a great
I wonder
idea.
if you
if you
started
do it.
payphones back up and started a payphone company, you could get rich off.
You
of
know, the
that.
guy that was probably one of the smartest guys, salespeople for cell phones in New Hanover County. I forgot his name. He was working for one of the first two companies in New Hanover County. I think it was Cellular One in those days.
Mhm.
And he told the story how he was getting customers. Raining, pouring, cats and dogs. He would go to a payphone, has the phone number, sit in his car till somebody gets out of their car and runs up to that payphone. As they're doing it, he's calling the number. I'm sitting in my car out here and you're getting wet. Wouldn't you rather be sitting in your car and making this phone call? He said
Lucky
he
you
signed up
get shot.
more people doing that. He signed them up.
Rayford, if you were in a payphone booth, if you were in a payphone booth and somebody come running up to you,
No,
like
you
that,
don't run up to him. You call him from your
Yeah.
car and you say, "Hey, sir, I just saw you run up to this payphone and I know you got wet there. I know you had to make a phone call. Wouldn't you love to have had a phone in your car that you
Okay.
could have called from?"
Do you say
And he
so?
signed a lot of people. That was smart.
That's clever.
Well,
I thought he
yeah.
Good
was.
salesmanship.
Yeah, good deal.
Okay.
I associated with some of the weirdest people, but it was
Well,
they were
sometimes
smart.
it takes
Conniving but smart.
different gimmicks to make a sell, and that's
Well,
what
I'd
it's all
rather
about.
have a gimmick like that than to have the idiots calling me on the phone. How old are you? I'm selling. The state provides a certain amount of money for burial insurance. How old are you now? What? Oh, you just don't understand. I wonder how many other people unload on them like I do.
I generally try to be a very polite and nice person,
Well,
but
you-
I've had my moments, and
Maybe.
I will attest to that.
Well, you
and
might
I've
balance
had-
me out then because
I've
I'm
had
not.
my moments when I used very unladylike language.
What? Shucks, gee whiz. doggone it.
No, but but sometimes you just get, to the point that you just want to just throw the phone across the room, break it with a hand. I'm tired of people making me feel that way.
Dude,
I would
Calling
just
my
rather
phone.
don't want to hurt the phone. I got to go buy another one if I
The
do.
do not call list is a joke.
It's a better joke
Well,
from
It's
day
a
one.
joke. Why we even bother?
I can make you do not ever call me again if I could get my hands on you.
Well, when we had
You'll
our
need those digits to make a phone call, right?
when we had our detective agency, and we'd get the classic crank phone calls about private investigators. There's another word for them, like Dick Tracy.
Yes.
And so we'd get
PIs.
the crazy phone calls about that. And I had some little kid that just kept calling and saying he had lost his hot dog, I'm going to say. And, he kept calling and calling. And I had a whistle by the phone. And, they always say blow a whistle into
Yeah.
the phone. My suggestion is do not blow a whistle into the phone
While you're listening.
because you're the only one that's going to go deaf.
Oh.
I mean, I did that. I blew that whistle so hard I couldn't hear for 3 days.
Now,
I mean,
for those of us in the electronic world,
right.
when you patch what we called a tone generator into your phone, you take that phone away from your ear and you hit this 1,000 cycle tone, this extremely high
Oh
level.
my gosh, that'll blow somebody's eardrums
It makes
out.
the wax come out of their
Yeah.
ears.
Oh, I imagine so.
yeah,
Oh,
I just
God.
love doing prank calls with them.
Well,
Oh, I've
That-
had my phone with that too.
Just do the prank
Huh?
call.
What?
Well, I better not tell that story because
don't you like
Chris
to
might
get
be
them all the way
listening.
to the point where they think they're getting ready to sign you and then you tell them no?
Well, I kept one on when he called. He said, "I'd like to talk to you." It is, foreign accent, heavy duty.
Right.
I want to talk to you about your windows. I said, I got windows. I just put some new ones in. No, not those kind of windows. The windows in your can your computer? I said, my computer does
yeah.
not have Windows.
Mhm.
17 minutes I went around and around with this guy who was dealing with an old codger, didn't know what I was talking about. 17 minutes recording. I've got it somewhere. I've played portions of it back over the air. The poor guy I know he was sweating bullets. I got through, and after a while, he said, no, not yet. And I said, you're tired. I'm tired. I'll go look and check for some windows. You want to call me back? And he did.
There was a guy.
Almost felt bad for him.
Find
No, I
his
didn't.
name, and I don't know that I can really. If I can find it, I'll share it. But there's a guy on YouTube that I'll watch some time to time. You talk about scamming the scammers. He's so
Is he the
good at it.
detective? Oh, is he the fake detective?
He is no, he'll
Okay.
change his voice, his accent, everything. He'll act like a very elderly person that can I mean, he
That was
scams
me.
the scammers so bad. And it's
Now we know.
I can't remember the name of the channel. I have to look it up. But I'll put it out there someday for somebody who wants to watch it. But it is funny the way he scams these people. He gets them so irritated they actually slam the phone on them, and then he'll keep calling back till they just take all their lines and put them on hold. I mean, it is priceless. I love watching that
Yeah,
guy.
call him back today, though. If you want to know if the caller that just called you is fake or not, just call that number back
Right.
as soon as they hang up. And go, beep, 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 beep. No,
Yep.
that number is not in service.
Well, you know what the problem is? They keep changing their numbers.
Of course.
So, and they're changing the area code, but it's the
I can-
same person.
I love
Go
it.
on.
I called myself one day. It had my telephone number and my return and my name.
There
And
is
I'm like, why am I calling me from my number?
There is an app on the Google Play Store that you can go in and download on your phone,
Uh-huh.
which will enable you to make phone calls using another number.
Mhm.
That's what we used to do for the GOP when we were calling people that don't forget to come out. It was a program, but what it does
You
is
call
it
me like
changes
that,
the
I get
number.
mad at you. I would change party affiliations. Seriously.
Well, that's how, we go through a program called Red Win, which is a fundraising program, but it also downloads every
Scam.
street. It identifies who are Republicans that live on that street and it gives you their phone number and everything. It's all public information. It's all legal,
It's a scam.
but I would use I would use another number. I didn't want people to have even though I've had the same number for 30 years and it's everywhere. So
The one I have,
bus station.
the one I have is 30 years old. My
Right.
cell phone number.
Mine too.
It
Mine's
started
about
with
that.
the cable company.
Yeah. Mine started way back when we had those great big flip phones.
Oh,
Or we had, and
The
I had
bag
one
phones?
that was,
you
bag
remember those
phone.
ones?
And I had one that was wired into my Blazer too.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. But I got something for you, Rayford. Did
Okay.
you read a story? I sent it to you over email. I don't know if you saw it or
Yeah,
not.
I saw a lot of them.
Was that the majority of official documents signed by President
Yeah.
Joe Biden allegedly used the same auto pen signature,
It's all of them do that.
creating
They can't
concerns
sign that many
over the
papers.
former president's mental acuity and
Mhm.
if he actually ordered the signature of the relevant legal documents. Said whoever controlled the auto pen controlled the presidency. And, it is kind of interesting because, we've talked about it before in the past, how what Joe Biden's mental capacity was
Mhm.
diminishing
Mhm.
because of, it's obvious he's going into some type of dementia. And we were like, who is actually running the White House?
Well, that's been going on forever. He's not the first president to do that. They can't sign their own stuff.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, if there was executive orders or anything else like going out with that, I'd say, I'll be signing it. It takes me a week to sign them all, but
He won't
you
know
don't
it.
or who's controlling it though?
Me.
So say if you want to send out all this stuff and put it through the machine so it'll auto sign it. How do you know I'm not throwing something else in there, like
You mean like they do?
selling a station or
You mean
something?
like they do for the House and the Senate for all these bills that they get submitted to them, and they got all this other stuff added? Yeah, those kinds of things.
Okay.
Well, those are
Here's-
signed.
If they want to sign one, I've got one. It'll take them 5 minutes out of their busy schedule. Actually, maybe they should do it during an address to presidential address to Congress.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have to tell you.
Daylight savings time. Here you go. Just raise your hand for a vote. Who's for it?
Me.
Yeah, but in Congress, that's all it's
Right.
got to do. It's 5 minutes for them to vote for
You
it.
know, first place, people screaming, "Holler, we going into daylight savings time? We moved an hour ahead now. Oh my God!" You know, daylight savings time is more than half of the year.
Yeah.
Duh.
Wow.
Just take it and adopt it. It's been increasing over the decades that we've had it. It was a lot shorter at one time.
Well, you know, it was created to help the farmers. The farmers don't even, I don't believe, farm the way they used to when it was first
You know,
created.
they got lights now.
Yeah. And they drive on the main roads
Yeah.
at
Oh.
5 miles.
Got
an
lights.
hour. But
Farm to market
Yeah.
roads.
I read a study that it actually increases the chances of heart attacks.
Does it?
The change of time, yes.
You know, I never had a
I've
heart attack
heard
until
that
after there was a
too.
daylight savings time.
Why would that?
Because of the lack of probably the lack of sleep.
It's an hour.
Well, yeah, but remember coming in this morning? It was darker.
Right.
Some
Lee-
people it's not going to affect.
Lee, I got a number that you need to write down, and so let's.
I'm scared.
Here's
Hello, this is not the person you were trying to call. You've reached the rejection hotline provided by rejectionhotline.com. The person who gave you this rejection hotline number did not want you to have their real number. We know this sucks, but don't be too devastated. So why were you given a rejection hotline number? Maybe you're just not this person's type. No, this could mean boring, dumb, annoying, arrogant, or just a general weirdo. Maybe you're someone dumb.
I love it.
so for ladies, if you're ever at a bar or something like that, there's a number that you should probably put in your phone that you can hand
I
it to
want that
somebody else.
number. I'm gonna start
Write it
putting that
down.
number
It's
down.
605-477-3018. I'll do it again.
605.
605
Mhm.
477-3018.
All right. I'm gonna start using that number for every time you go into something and
Absolutely.
they says, you must use your telephone. I'm gonna start putting that down.
There you go.
That's
Mhm. American Heart Association noticed studies linking heart disease and strokes
It's
with
Monday.
spring forward transition.
Yeah,
What? This has to do with the daylight saving times. Can springing forward cause problems for your ticker? Switching to daylight, you hear that pun? Your ticker. Switching to daylight saving time may cause more than losing an hour of sleep. It may also have a
No.
negative impact on your heart and brain health. The American Heart Association said several scientific reports suggest the upcoming time change is associated with an increase in the incidence of heart disease and stroke during the spring ahead time transition.
so, come.
God doesn't do it. Something else is going to cause you a heart attack. I had a heart attack in 1999. Duh.
I wonder how many millions of dollars was spent on this survey.
Enough to cause you to have a heart attack.
What,
That is just, do people let it stress them out that bad?
Not me. I don't.
I
I have so many people over the years, and I told a story about the guy that I used to work with at a different profession,
Mhm.
and he could not get to work at 10 o'clock in the morning. He's supposed to be in at 8:30, but he was part owner of the company. But he said, I worked for so long in television. This was in 1980s or early 90s.
right.
I worked for so long in television. And I worked the second shift. I came in at 3 o'clock or whatever it was in the afternoon and worked till midnight, till the end of the news.
Mhm.
I did that for so long. I said so-and-so. He uses initials for his name, so I won't say it. This was in 1990 something. When did you work? I knew the answer. I said, when did you work in TV? Well, it was up at WNCT. I said, yeah, I know. When? 1954. How long did you work there? He said, about a year. And you got so used to it, working that shift, that you can't get up in the morning and come to work at 8:30? Does anybody buy those kinds of things? No, not at all.
Well, look, speaking about this survey, you've got till if you get through to Tuesday, you'll be fine. because by Tuesday, after changing the time, there was a 21% reduction in heart attacks.
That's tomorrow. So
I'm going to go take a
Get through
nap.
tomorrow, you'll be fine.
yeah.
Was 21% lower chance. I just don't.
I'd like to do a public service announcement.
Go ahead.
It's a serious one.
Yes,
a serious
we need
one.
something
You
to
go right
serious
ahead.
today.
If you have your driver's license renewal coming up
Next year.
next year, book it today.
That's what I said.
Book it and I'm going to tell you, Kathy had to get hers done.
She's
They-
still standing in line.
Well,
Honey,
we,
hey, you'd had to take her meals while she's been there.
it was an interesting
Do they,
process.
do they have a food service truck while you're waiting?
I thought about sticking one out there, but the thing is that they're
Cooler
booked
beer.
out throughout the entire
Yeah.
state of North Carolina for 90 days.
Mhm.
Every office is booked out.
Mhm.
And I was told the reason why is because Chris will book, I'm going to use me this time, Lee.
All right.
Chris will book himself in Jacksonville and in New Bern and in Wilmington,
Smart.
Burgal, and all these.
Oh, Cedar
They're
Ding.
taking their slots.
Right.
And then the one that you get accepted,
Mhm.
it still holds those other slots. And so nobody can get them. And so now you're booked out 90 days to get an appointment, which is in the morning. and
They
then
need a different software program.
they do, because otherwise you're like the other 70 people that
I
were
can't
there.
do that at my doctor's office. If they
I-
will cancel it.
Not, they,
So my
it-
doctor's smarter than the DMV.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So it's not a government agency. It's my doctor's not.
And it's interesting listening to the comments of the people that are sitting there getting frustrated or standing because there's only a certain amount of seats. They're standing there going, well, I was told to be back here at 12 o'clock and stand in line. And some, they will be there and have to come back the next day because
Yeah.
5 o'clock comes around,
Very close.
they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Second shift. That's what they need.
there's just a bill introduced into North Carolina legislature.
Just make it
It's
illegal to
HB
do
House
that.
Bill 218. It was introduced February 24th. It was filed. And it says, let me see. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to see because something came out about the DMV.
Yep.
I know we've got to get our senator on here because he is.
He's been looking at all of this. a
Oh, now
lot.
they're saying a person may apply to the division to renew a license during the 180-day period before the license expires.
Yes.
So you can do it 6 months early now.
Well, if
Yeah.
you do that, though, does it take effect on this date of the original expiration?
I
Or
would
does it
think
take
so.
effect then? Or do you lose 6 months?
What does it matter?
So what
Could
you
mean
end
I'd
up,
only get 4.5 years instead of 5.
so what you end up getting now is when you do
Right.
get in there and
Yeah.
you do whatever you have to do, the eye
Right.
test or something, you get a piece of paper.
Yes.
And that is your temporary until
Yes.
it comes
Well,
from.
it doesn't
So I'm not
become.
sure about your that question. It's a
Well,
good
you don't
question.
have to worry this year because they said if it does pass, the act becomes effective October 1st, 2026.
Ugh.
So now, and also on this bill, it's a bill entitled an act requiring the Division of Motor Vehicles to request emergency contact information on your driver's license
You
applications.
should have that.
Well, I did
Yeah.
call the state and
Any
ask them
problem with
about that. And I said, is it really something wrong with your system that every county is booked up and they get, no, the problem is we have so many people moving to North Carolina.
Guess who
Oh,
the
Lord.
sponsor was? One
Okay.
of ours.
We need to put,
Borders.
yeah, we need to have border security.
The sponsor of this bill is one of our representatives here at
Really?
Onslow. You don't know him. His name is Carson Smith.
Well, he's just a part-timer here.
He's
from
see?
Pender.
Yeah, he's actually from Pender. He's only
Oh.
got a little slice of Onslow. He's got
He's
like
got
a beach
12
area.
Okay.
Yeah.
12
He's-
people.
I didn't know.
12 people. Yeah. Nobody knows him in Onslow, but well, very few.
I wonder if
but-
he'll donate to Reese Cross
Yeah, he
America.
will.
Okay.
Well, let's call him.
Former sheriff of Pender County.
Don't call this number though.
Don't give him that number. No, I'm putting that in my phone. I don't want to lose that.
Okay, we got to go. Chris, thank you.
Thank you for
Yes.
letting me come in and spend some
Well, I
time with you
appreciate
It
folks.
was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And
And we'll see you tomorrow. We got Congressman Murphy going to be joining us
Oh,
tomorrow morning at
yes.
7:30.
I imagine there's
Oh,
a lot of
mercy.
questions for him. I think I wrote one down from a caller that we're supposed to ask him. It's in here.
All right,
Got
gotta
it.
go. You're live and local real talk on Freedom 90. No, it's not. You're live and local real talk where we're always awake and never woke. We'll see you in the morning. Bye.
Take care.
Jesus. Okay.